What's up with Jasmy Coin? Price pumped in a straight line. Where does this price action come from? And how high can it still fly? We will look at this with surgical precision through tokenomics and technical analysis. Is this just a fad, or is Jasmy up for an amazing price rally even long term? And as always here on my channel, I have all the important information prepared and packaged ready for you. Coming up in this episode of Phil Prince, your one and only stop for crypto, finance and trading. With me, you will gain the skill set and the mindset to crush the markets. Before we start, if you haven't subscribed yet to this channel, please ask yourself why and do it now. You really don't want to miss any of the next videos. Also have a look at my Instagram, TikTok and Twitter pages. They're linked on my channel. Let's get to it. So Jasmy Coin, it's not the most usual project. Let me give you the most important facts first. This project was founded in 2016 in Japan, and it's built as Japan's Bitcoin, as they say on their own website. It's all about data democracy and combines IoT with blockchain. Mostly they're addressing security concerns that comes with the use of IoT devices. Most of the times IoT devices are harvesting data about you, your home and your home's network. And this information will then be sold to other merchants that use your data, for example, for some statistics. Now Jasmy aims to offer a platform to enable security and privacy of users' data. That means it revolves around the safe storage of your data. And only you can access this data with your identity. Through that, you're in control of your data and you can decide if you want to sell them to merchants that want to work with your data. And only if you accept this offer, you will even get paid in Jasmy Coin. They call this the PDL, the personal data locker. In order to make this work on the blockchain, Jasmy uses IPFS, the interplanetary file system. IPFS allows you to store your data on a decentralized way and is also used, for example, for Ethereum NFTs because Ethereum on itself is not able to store metadata on its network. Therefore, it will be uploaded on IPFS, for example. There are other projects as well, and then linked in the smart contract of the NFT on Ethereum. Therefore, Jasmy uses it as well, and also allows for the creation of NFT game assets, for example. Other key components of Jasmy to make it all work are the secure knowledge communicator, in short SKC, that allows for the safe communication of the data that is stored in a personal data locker. Then there's the smart guardian. This allows for the secure registration of IoT devices with the distributed network of Jasmy. Then there's the Jasmy solution, which helps to onboard enterprises. Then the Jasmy IoT platform to connect all the stakeholders and the reward system. The founders are extremely experienced in Japan's tech industry. The founder was the former president and COO of Sony. Then the president was the former CEO of Sony Style.com. The CFO was working with KPMG, and the head of software development was the former president of Sony Digital Network Applications. And then you have other team members who worked at banking corporations or have filed 100 patents while working for Sony. These are the best of the best. Then when we take a look at their partnerships, we can see that they are very B2B focused. They want privacy for users' data, but for this, they mostly work with the companies to make it work. And they for sure work in the highest echelons of the Japanese tech industry. For example, they established a fully decentralized blockchain implementation for a very large Japanese call center that stores all the related data of the call service. Then they work together with a well-known travel service provider in Japan that is called Wits and also works with Toyota. And there, Jasmy's technology is used to record all of the tourist data for the region of Hokkaido. And apart from Toyota, also Panasonic was working on this. Then they worked with Sony Vaio for a next generation IoT business. And this is for IoT machines with high security functions. So this will be widely used in banks and other financial institutions. And also very recently, on February 15th this year, they brought their Jasmy Secure PC environment to Kinro no Shishi, I don't know if I said this correctly, which is a cloud-based attendance management system. And this is basically used to record the employee working hours on the blockchain. So it's pretty obvious they are very local in Japan. They basically only work with enterprises from Japan. And as far as I know, this is pretty normal for Japan. They're pretty enclosed and keep to themselves. All right, now for tokenomics, let's have a quick look at the allocation. As you can see here, there is not a team allocation. They just have 20% allocated to business financing, which is used to keep everything running, paying fees and so on. Same goes for the 14% in listing, which will, for example, be used for legal and tax consulting. Then there has been an airdrop with 13% allocation, but there has been no ICO. The developer program allocation will be used for rewards paid to enterprises who are allowing their IoT data to be used for developers. And the biggest chunk, 30% for business companies is, according to this white paper released, similar to the developer program and is used to incentivize ecosystem building as well. Now, the beauty of such a project, which is 8 years old, which has a very reputable team and is working with very big companies, is that we don't have to fear that this might be a scam or some kind of pump and dump structure. And while the project is pretty old, Jasmy Coin has been released in October 2021. It has a max cap of 50 billion tokens, which will fully be vested by end of January 2025. And as you can see here, the supply schedule is as shallow as it could be. There's basically no token unlocks. And at least from this side, we don't have to fear any dumping. Now, but what did happen to Jasmy Coin that it pumped this high in just 4 days? As you can see before, we were consolidating for around 100 days. This couldn't be some kind of pump and dump. As I explained, it's pretty reputable. Now, there's a simple reason for that. And that is Japan announced that it's now possible for VCs in Japan to invest into crypto projects as well, which was regulated before by the government. And of course, Jasmy being Japan's Bitcoin, as I mentioned in the beginning, this is the first project to profit from this news. And if we zoom out, we can see that Jasmy didn't have a great time in past history. In defense, it was launched basically at the top of the last bull cycle in October 2021 and has basically only seen a downwards trend, which from top to bottom was minus 99%. Along with all the other altcoins, it also pumped from October to December 2023 around 147%, but became pretty boring afterwards. Now, with this recent move, things start to become a little different. VC capital flowing into Jasmy in the near future could further pump Jasmy Coin, so I think we might expect higher prices for sure. The first long-term price targets I will look at are this high here, then this zone next, and of course the all-time highs. The first price target is also in accordance with the Fibonacci zone of the 2.618. The all-time highs is in accordance with the 1.618 from this downwards move, and the middle price target at around 9 cents is the 0.618 from the first downwards move. Alright, but how likely are these targets? The first target would be from this point in time around 212%, then the second one 526%, and the last one around 2100%, which means 22x. I do think that all-time highs, meaning 22x, for the end of the bull cycle is a likely scenario. The other two price targets we could reach fairly quick under the circumstance that Bitcoin stays strong and retail keeps buying Jasmy, while also having ongoing interest by Japan's VCs in Jasmy. And maybe we do see expansion of Jasmy globally and therefore international VCs flowing in as well. But at this point, this is speculation that has to be seen. What we shouldn't forget is that we already pumped 160%, and it's time for a little breather. I mean, we have a consolidation already, but I wouldn't be surprised if this takes a little longer or even dip a little further down. Of course, you know in crypto nothing is impossible. And if hype sets in, every kind of analysis and common sense is out of the window. Now, could we consolidate a little more and pump straight up? It is possible, and I would be very positively surprised, but I wouldn't say it's likely. And in this kind of events, I really like to dollar cost average my way in, because if it does pump and you didn't buy anything, that's really hard on your feelings. And if you go all in now and then it dumps first before it goes up, it's also heart wrenching. Therefore, be smart and be in and out at the same time. This will give you a nice average price, and you will for sure have a lot less regrets in your investment decision. At the moment, I'm looking at another coin that could pump very, very soon. Similar to Jasmy, it's a very old project, and in my opinion, is set up to give us pretty nice gains. If you want to know which project I'm talking about, head over to my Twitter profile. My username is philprince_11. It's also linked to my channel, and give me a follow there. If we hit 100 followers, I will release the coin for free on my Twitter page. So better hurry up. Also, I talked about a project that is very similar in high-class partnerships. I'm talking about Nvidia, Apple, Google, Microsoft, and so on. Similar to Jasmy, it had a heinous pump and is setting up for even more gains. But more on this in my video about Render Network. I very much advise you to watch it right now. Guys, I hope you gain massive value here in this video. As always, this is not financial advice. Please do your own research and due diligence. This was Phil Prince for you. Crush the markets. Until next time, goodbye.